Unfortunately, many countries can acquire the ability to destroy many different cities from miles away in a short period of time. This is what nuclear weapons can do. Nuclear weapons, which are a very dangerous weapon, are described as the most powerful and the most dangerous technology ever created. And they are also defined as the devices that are designed in order to release an energy in an explosive manner. And this explosive manner is the result of nuclear fusion.
Did you know that the waste from the development of nuclear weapons must be stored somewhere? It can't just be thrown away. Therefore, it is being stored in 177 tanks, which are at risk of leaking and can be a threat to the environment. Also, when a nuclear experiment is being conducted, its effects can be seen up to 10 years after the experiment took place. Another thing that many people do not know is the cost of the development and maintenance of these weapons. Over the past 9 years, the US has spent $179 billion just on producing and maintaining nuclear weapons.
The biggest threat from nukes isn't explosions that kill millions of people, or radioactive fallout that kills even more, or even a high-altitude electromagnetic pulse that causes mayhem by frying the electrical grid and electronics across a continent. No, the biggest threat from nuclear weapons is a global nuclear-induced winter in which the fires and smoke from as few as a few thousand nukes could darken the atmosphere enough to plunge Earth into a planet-wide mini ice age with year-round winter-like conditions. This could cause a complete collapse of the global food system and apocalyptic unrest, potentially killing most of us 7 billion people on Earth. But
atomic bombs were only used twice in actual warfare, on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. In Hiroshima, the bomb was dropped on August 6, 1945, and at Nagasaki, the bomb was dropped on August 9, 1945. And just to give some context onto what nuclear bombs could do in today's culture with today's population, just 50 nuclear bombs could kill an estimated 200 million people, which are also the combined populations of Britain, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and Germany. And the Nagasaki bomb, to give an idea of what it did back then, killed 40,000 people immediately, which rose to 140,000 within 5 years. And even today, babies and toddlers are being born dead and deformed in several of these areas affected.
First time in over a 70-year effort to avert nuclear war, a global treaty had been negotiated that would lead to the destruction of all nuclear weapons and prohibit their use forever. It is called the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. It was adopted on July 7, 2017 at the United Nations headquarters in New York. The treaty was dismissed by the nuclear-armed states and their allies, so the impact of this treaty will become evident only over time. Some critics of the treaty, including the United States and its close Western allies, publicly rejected the entire effort, calling it misguided and reckless, especially when North Korea has threatened a nuclear missile strike on American soil before. Nuclear weapons have defied attempts to contain their spread since the U.S. dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan in 1945, ending World War II. The destruction wrought by those weapons helped give rise to the nuclear arms race.
The nuclear debate has been ongoing since before the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. but public concern began only in 1954 after extensive testing in the Pacific. The 70s saw large anti-nuclear protests in North America and Europe, which were emboldened by a successful protest in Ville, West Germany, that successfully shut down a nuclear plant project, and a 1 million persons demonstration in New York City on June 12, 1982. After Chernobyl, nuclear power was off the policy agenda for most countries, and during the 2000s, along with advances in nuclear reactor designs, there was a sort of nuclear power renaissance. However, following the 2011 Japanese nuclear accidents, there has been a resurgence in anti-nuclear activism.